Hi friends, today let me talk to you about one book. It is Count Your Chickens Before They Hatch by Arindam Chaudhuri. This is actually a management book, and recently I have been reading several books on management and motivational books and all, but I never felt like talking about them to you. But this book is, I felt, different from all those books in certain aspects. That's why I just wanted to tell you about this book, and because this book has some very different theories to talk to us, and which will be helpful to us, which will be helpful to all of us if we try to understand, if we try to delve deep into the theory discussed in this book. This is basically a management book, as I told you, and it's written by Arindam Chaudhuri, who is a young genius because he was hardly in his 20s when he wrote this book. And this book is not just like any other management book, but he has displayed his knowledge about the business field not only in India but how the business culture works in different parts of the world. And he has gone to the extent of comparing how these things work and what are the differences between the theories of business happening in different countries, different important countries of the world, and how we can compare our country, India, to those countries as far as these theories are concerned. So what is special about this book is his theory I management, because we have the theory X and theory Y and theory Z. Theory X is generally understood about a guy who is very smart and who is very dull and lazy and who is not productive. Theory Y is about someone who is smart and productive at work, and theory Z is the Japanese theory. So Arindam has formulated this theory I, which is the Indian theory for India. So as I told you, there are a lot of management and motivational books around, and many of them are by Western authors, and there are many from Indian authors. But what Indian authors have been doing is they refer to all those Western books and study from them and then write their book. So they just reflect the Western concepts in their book. So that is why I told you I have read such books, but I didn't want to talk to you about those books, because the theory they put forward works in the Western world, because India has a different psyche and we need a theory that will work good for Indians. So this is what most of these motivational writers in India failed to do, and this is where Arindam Chaudhuri become different from them. So in this theory I management, he is comparing Indian workers and their style of work, the style of managing them, and style of the country's philosophy, the way the country expresses its kind of patriotism. All these things he discusses, and he compares these things with those of other countries like America and Japan and even Russia and China. So he has come up with something different which can work for India, and he believes that if that is implemented correctly, within no time India can be a better country. So let me first tell you about the American system. As he describes in this book, the American system is based on the contract theory, which is they recruit some person to work in a company under a contract, and the company itself has some philosophy, the organization has some philosophy, and they want to recruit individuals who will fit into that philosophy, so who is suitable to do their work. This is their kind of thinking. And in the Japanese theory, Japan is less individualistic compared to a country like America, and more into bonding and family ties and all as a nation country. So what the organization there has done is that they have not adopted the Western system into their organizations. They have never done that. Because they know if a person, well, most peoples are into bonding and family ties, attachment. So such people, if they take them into a Western styled work atmosphere, their productivity will go down. So what Japanese companies are doing is that they are following a bonding philosophy, not the contract philosophy of America. Bonding is when the individuals they take in are considered like their family, and they love them, and they don't say we have this philosophy in this organization and we will take only such people who will belong to this philosophy. No, they are ready to take people with hardly any experience or knowledge about anything they do in this company. But they will take them, they will bond with them, then they will teach them, they will chisel them out, and they will use them for their work. So here he uses two words, brick and stone. Arindam Chaudhuri says brick is for the America and stone is for the Japanese, because it's very obvious that brick, from a stack of bricks, if we take two bricks, they both will be identical. But if we take from a heap of stones, we take two stones, they are not identical, they are different in size, shape, weight, everything, all dimensions. But America is recruiting bricks which will readily fit into their construction. But Japan is taking in stones which they have to chisel out and shape them in order to belong to their company. But the difference is that in the contract system, if somebody doesn't perform well, they will be kicked out or they will have to leave. But in Japan, they are more tolerant and they consider them as family, and people in turn consider the company as their own family, their home. So they are bonded to the company for an entire life, almost in most of the cases. So this is the way the country's culture, the bonding culture, has been made use of in framing work culture in the company. So when a Japanese joins a company, it is forever. And in addition to that, they are very patriotic in a truer sense than compared to India. So when they work for a company, they are made to believe that they work for the country itself. So each and every tiny thing they do in the company is to bring good results for the company, which in turn will help the nation. So that kind of patriotism is there in Japanese minds, and that's also made use of in these companies. And when it comes to Russia or China, there is a forced philosophy, because they're communist countries and they have captured the power, or they have used their power in ruling the people. So they work with the application of force. So that is another side. Then coming to India, what he's trying to say is, we as an Asian country, same like Japan, are into bonding and family ties and relationships, attachment, all these things. And this kind of this nature of things we can see when it comes to government work, public sector. So when someone is recruited for a work, he is for an entire life. He works there until retirement age. So he has job security. Same like in Japan, somebody works for a company throughout his life. But at the same time, private sector is different. It's following the American style system. But what he is trying to say, we need to find that balance between the two for our country. Because even though the government sector people work entire life with one job, they are not really productive or efficient like the Japanese people. Because we are not really patriotic like the Japanese people. We shout out slogans, Mera Bharat Mahan and all that, but we don't really love enough that we show in our actions. For example, putting garbages, spitting in the road, and all these things are not really showing that we are patriotic. If we love the country, we need to show in our actions, and we need to show that in our work, because a government sector employee is not thinking that he is working for the country. If he is really patriotic, he will think that he is working for the country. He will do his work properly. That's not happening in India. So this is the entire point in this book that Arindam Chaudhuri is trying to tell us. I think we need to very deeply think about this, and what he has put forward is a very good thing, that India needs its own philosophy in the workplace. So I just want everyone to read this book and reflect upon the things mentioned in this book, so that there will be more people thinking along these lines, and it's really very required for our country and for its progress. So I think we will all read this book and enjoy this book and think about it and try to bring some difference in whatever we are doing in our action, so that it will be beneficial for our country, India. So I hope I have given a good introduction of the book, and I have evoked enough interest in you to read the book. Thank you.